Day one of his 9-day trip overseas. He spent today in Saudi Arabia, in the heart of the Arabian Desert, where he got a pretty warm and royal welcome. You can't get enough of this video of the president dancing and smiling to the music at this welcome ceremony. He's here along with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. You see Wilbur Ross. We also saw his wife, his daughter Ivanka, earlier in the day. The Arabian king is presenting the president with the country's top civilian honor in this picture. That he just put around his neck. Now, this lavish welcome, very different than what President Obama got on his final visit there. The king did not greet President Obama, and even after President Trump saying some pretty harsh things about Saudi Arabia in the past. Let's take a look back.
It wasn't the Iraqis that knocked down the World Trade Center. We went after Iraq. We decimated the country. Iran's taken over. Okay. But it wasn't the Iraqis. You will find out who really knocked down the World Trade Center because they have papers in there that are very secret. You may find it's the Saudis, okay? But you will find out.
So again, that was in February of 2016 during the campaign. With me now to talk more about the president's visit, former U.S. Ambassador to Saudi Arabia, James Smith. Ambassador, thanks for being with us. You served under President Obama. I want to get your reaction to this warm welcome we've seen today for President Trump.
Anna, it's good to be with you. Not unexpected. The Saudis, by their very nature, are very warm and welcoming. They're looking forward to having a relationship with President Trump. There probably could not be a country that he could have gone on his first visit where he would have been more welcome on his first days there.
Now, the president is catching some flack today for the video we showed earlier, him bowing to the Saudi king as he puts that medallion around his neck. Back in 2012, the president criticized then President Obama for essentially doing the same thing. This is what President Trump tweeted back then. He says, "Do we still want a president who bows to the Saudis and lets OPEC rip us off? Make America strong, vote for Mitt Romney." And then today, even former Trump campaign advisor Roger Stone tweeted this in response to seeing Trump bow. "Candidly, this makes me want to puke. Jared's idea," he writes. So, Ambassador, on a diplomatic stage, I don't know, I mean, is there any way to getting around bowing, if not for custom, but also he has to bend down to receive the medal, no?
Yeah, it's anyone who has ever received any kind of medal, or if someone has helped you with your necklace, you naturally lean over to help them with it. So this is not bowing, it's a silly commentary.
What do you make of this being the president's first overseas stop?
Well, it's very important to the region. This is the first time that a president has gone to a Muslim-majority country on his first visit as president. There are many key issues in the region, and the countries in the region are looking to the United States for help, for leadership, as they wade through the challenges of the time. So for the region, this is a very, very important visit.
Are there any landmines, pitfalls that the president needs to be careful of being there in terms of the culture, in terms of the dynamics in that region? We have Iran, of course, the sensitivities with extremism, the issues, and again, sensitivities that are to do with religion specifically, and some of the comments that the president has said in the past. What would you be looking for in terms of the nuance?
Well, the first thing I would say, Anna, is nothing that he said in the past matters. It's what he says as the President of the United States that matters. So what he says tomorrow matters. And the real pitfall is failing to take advantage of an opportunity, which he certainly does in this first trip to the region. You know, Daesh or ISIS is waning. You can see that Mosul and Raqqa are going to fall in a reasonable amount of time. The question is, what's next? So I hope the message that he delivers tomorrow is, what is the Islamic community going to do to undermine support for extremism? This is their challenge. It's the issue they've got to work through, and we can provide our moral support to that, but at the end of the day, it's in their lap. Secondly, he's got to deal with an Iran intent on destabilizing the region. There's an opportunity here to create a regional security forum. We've been pushing for that for several decades. There's a window of opportunity to make that happen. And at the end of the day, you've got Israel, and their foreign policy concerns are identical to the Saudis in terms of Iran. It might well be that President Trump is in a unique position to reset that relationship. So I'm anxious to see how positive tomorrow and the next day can be.
One other question I've had is, given what we know of President Trump, he clearly values personal relationships. We saw that after President Xi from China visited and really established a great relationship that seemed to help Trump soften some of his earlier rhetoric and his stance about China. Is there any risk to the Saudis seeing that in the president and exploiting that in him, his ability and desire to have chemistry with these leaders?
Well, Anna, everything in that region is based on personal relationships. It is still a tribal society at its basis, and normally takes a long time for a diplomat to achieve the kinds of personal relationships that President Trump can establish in just a few hours or days. Those relationships are hugely important. And not because the Saudis are trying to take advantage of it, but if they don't feel trust and respect, you're not going to move forward in your bilateral relationships.
So you see it as a good thing, the president's ability in that arena?
I see it as a huge upside for him in being able to navigate the troubled waters. Now, what's interesting is going to be what are the conditions he's going to put on U.S. support for the region against Iran. I have every reason to believe that he would expect concessions from them in terms of them coming to terms with undermining support for extremism, establishing a regional security forum. So I think there will be conditions set on U.S. support just because he's a businessman.
Gotcha.
But again, the relationship is hugely important.
Former Ambassador James Smith, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Anna.
Coming up, debate dodge. New video surfaces of Hillary Clinton practicing how to avoid a hug from Donald Trump.